snoCast! Hello, people of the internet webs. That's stupid. That's so dumb. And then I did that, and I was worried I'd have, pit stains. And so, I was, thinking about it. That was so dumb. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very first ever snoCast, a podcast type thing where we'll talk about video games and all kinds of crazy stuff. Who knows what we'll talk about. My first guest ever is SteveOHobo. Hello. Say hey, what's up?
Hello, people.
Hello. We'll talk about you in a second, but we'll brush you off. But first, I kind of want to just talk. I don't know why, but when I wanted to do a podcast idea for a little while now, and I was just this would be really cool. And then it was a couple weeks ago, Steve-O tweeted.
I put on Twitter, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. You're like, someone make a podcast because I want to talk about games with you. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it then. I'm just gonna do it. So here we are.
I have aspirations of being on the co-optional podcast, so this is the stepping stone.
There
to
you
that.
go. Yeah, get that podcast experience in.
Yeah,
I know this isn't for everyone, and it's it's kind of if you want to watch it, not a big deal. And who knows how long we're gonna talk. We're kind of just gonna let the conversation go where it goes. But some people enjoy it, and I kind of like it. And plus, this just gives us an avenue to talk about games and whatever. So at the top of the screen, it says "No cast like snoCast," and that is Jolly Goat. It's like his catchphrase. Anything I ever do, he has to comment. No man like Snoman. And so then I asked the other day, what should I call it? And he's like, "No cast like snoCast." So I just put it in. We'll just put it in. It'll be great.
I'm gonna refrain from saying any snowman puns just to anger him.
It's all I hear. It's all I hear. I'll ask anything about what should I name this, and it'll be something about ice or snow and cold. Oh, I'm so funny, and it's I've heard them all. So. Yeah. Anyway, today's topic for the very first inaugural episode, we're going to talk about our favorite gaming console. But first, though, I'd like you, Steve-O, to just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you do on the YouTube scene and what we should look out for you.
Okay, so my channel is called SteveOHobo, and what I like to do is I make videos about... The bulk of my channel is speculatory kind of content. So, I guess you could kind of compare it to something like game theory, I guess, but not really. It's the big show on my channel is it's called What If. And so each video will be a different what if scenario. For instance, my most popular one is what if Nintendo made Metroid 64. And so in that video I go into detail on what I think makes Metroid so great and why they may have not chosen to make Metroid 64. And it's not even just limited to that. It's anything I can think of. And so that's the biggest show on my channel. And then one of my mission statements, I guess, is to try to ask a thought-provoking question with each video. And so that's what I do, basically. And I just make videos like that. And I am currently in the process of maybe branching out a little bit, especially with this next video. But I won't go into too much detail with that. Spoilers.
No spoilers. That's what drew me to you, though, in the first place, was just... It was stuff that you don't see elsewhere on YouTube, which is why I really liked it. You asked the questions that people have not asked before. And
I think if I have anything going for me, it's kind of that, because I'm pretty amateur in every other department.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll link to a video at the end of SteveOHobo. I don't know why. I hope I'm not it sounds like I'm clipping my mic a little bit. Hopefully it's not too bad. Okay, well let's dive in. So we were talking about this before we started recording, but I feel to pose the question, what's your favorite gaming console? You have to put it in separate categories of Nintendo's consoles and then everything else. So maybe let's ask 3 questions, and we'll say, what's your favorite Nintendo console? What's your favorite non-Nintendo console? And then if you had a pick of any console in the world right now today, which would you play? And why?
Okay.
And we'll elaborate, obviously, on, all of the above, but I don't know, I feel that's fair, because, to say favorite console, well, we're gonna say a Nintendo console. I feel like we're going to. We have to, because that's just, it's so ingrained part of our childhood and stuff. But then it'd be good to talk about other ones too, because I didn't just have Nintendo stuff growing up. I definitely had other things. So
yeah, same.
We'll talk about that too. So I'll let you go first. Just what's your favorite Nintendo console and why? And if you have to like debate with yourself, like I probably will, go ahead, because I know I will.
My favorite Nintendo console also happens to be my favorite console. Imagine that.
Right.
So my favorite console is the Nintendo 64.
I knew it. Yeah, this is funny. Wait, okay.
Yep, of course.
Go on.
Well, N64 is well, first off, growing up, I'm young. I'm 19 years old, and I was born the year that the N64 came out. So, like, I was too young to be, like, into games when it came out. But I had a SNES. That was the first console that my family owned, and so I really loved the SNES. But I didn't have many games for it, and I think when I got my N64, that was, like, when I really, like, got into gaming. Like, it was like, oh my god, this is so awesome, I love it.
Yep.
But yeah, N64, when I got my N64, I don't know if you remember, but they had this bundle thing with Donkey Kong 64, and it was, like, the Jungle Green console. So I got that.
That's awesome.
Like, it's, like, one of the coolest looking ones, I think. It's, like, kind of, like, neon greenish and, like, translucent, I guess.
Yeah.
So you can, like, see the inside, sort of. So it was that with the, like, green controller and
Man. That's way cool. I just had, like, the lame black one, you know?
Yeah, I have the black one now because I was an idiot and sold it in a garage sale.
Oh man, totally.
Like, sold my SNES and my N64 in a garage sale because I was just so ignorant. Ignorant back then.
That's depressing, yeah.
But yeah, that is such a good childhood memory because I got that for Christmas from my cousin, and ever since then, N64, it's been awesome.
It's funny that you say that, because my favorite console of all time is the, contrary to what you said, the Nintendo 64. And, but like I was saying, I really had to debate with myself, because, like, I was kind of the same way. I definitely had SNES, and, like, that was the roots. I'm a little bit older than you.
Yeah.
I'm 23, about to turn 24, and so, like, I definitely grew up with SNES and, like, played with my dad. But same thing with N64. I like the way you phrase that, because it's where I really started to kind of branch out and, like, really get into gaming. It wasn't just, like, a thing that I did because I was young, or, like, I mean, I played a lot with my dad, which I have a lot of really good memories because of that, like, with the SNES. But yeah, there was something about N64, and it's just special anyway. I mean, we could go into long detail of, like, just the fact that, like, what that meant at the time, and just 3D gaming and how that changed everything, you know? So, that's, just to start off, that's good to know. So we're in that same boat, I think. But
yeah, I mean, another thing is, like, I mean, it's pretty well built, because there's, like, I don't think I've ever had issues aside from, like, just blowing into the cartridge every once in a while. Like, I know people say that, like, you're not actually supposed to do that. It's BS. Let's be real. You gotta blow into the cartridge.
Worked. I did it with the NES all the time.
Yeah.
Which, that one had the worst issues, for sure.
Yeah, totally.
So bad. That's important to note, too. I guess I had all three growing up, and, like, sometimes I would play the old NES, but it was such a pain to play that, like, it wasn't worth it most of the time. If I got a game to work for more than, like, 30 minutes, it was a joy.
That's rough.
Which, yeah, that's like, so depressing.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That's something that also happens with, like, a lot of disc systems. It's like the disc gets scratched so easily. Like, I was playing my Xbox 360 yesterday, and I'm gonna probably talk about that later on, but there's one game that I have played heavily that the disc is just so messed up that like it will like kick me out of the game in like 20 minutes. On 360 too. It's awful.
I broke my first 360. Well, I don't know what broke, but it couldn't read game discs anymore.
Yeah,
and
I think 360's breaking is just like a rite of passage. Like
it really is.
Your first 360 has to break.
It's true because I'm on my second 360, and I still don't have any of the new ones. It's old, the white clunky ones.
Yeah,
the way to
I
go.
still have it.
But apparently they have it's like a different reader for game disc or like DVD or something, because it could play DVDs but it couldn't play game discs.
Really?
It was really
That's
bizarre.
Weird.
It was really weird. And
that is really, aren't the discs like DVDs though? Like they're in DVD format? I don't know.
Apparently not. I don't know. It's well, I mean, think of like Nintendo's consoles. They can't play DVDs, but they can play games. So I mean, which we can talk about that is like, what are you thinking? I don't know. But anyway, back just a couple of things about like N64. I think part of it too. I mean, I love the way you phrase it because I do feel like you said it in your Metroid video. I think how the NES and the N64 were like groundbreaking, but they were a little archaic because they're newer. But like the SNES and the GameCube, they like
that's when you saw the polish.
Yeah, just polished is such a good word for it. Like takes those same concepts and polished on it so much. And so I played a lot of SNES as a kid, and they were great, amazing games because they were so polished. But then there was something about N64 because it was so new and it had that 3D appeal, and just I got sucked in. Part of it too, I think, because I didn't have as many SNES games as I did N64, or I guess I didn't have as wide of like genre. With SNES, I had like Donkey Kong, Mario World, and then like a bunch of like weird knockoff like you know what I mean. And, like,
that's like what mine was too.
Yeah.
I had Donkey Kong Country, Mario World, and those are like the only like two games I really have like concrete memories of. Like the only other SNES game that I really remember is this one like Scooby-Doo game that was like so awful that like I couldn't get past the first screen of the game. And I've been trying, like, I don't even know what game it is. I've been trying to find it just because it was so infuriating.
Yeah, and you don't even know what it is. You just remember it. And, like, that's, I have a lot of those. Like, I know they were bad, and I know, like, I sucked at them. Like, I couldn't get past, like, the first, second level. But, like, they're so ingrained in my mind. Like, I had a Bugs Bunny game, a Mickey Mouse game, and just things that... They were awful games. I remember them. I remember being frustrated and just they were so bad. But like I guess my point is I didn't have Super Metroid. I didn't have Link to the Past.
Yeah,
the ones that now I'm like I know why this system is great because of these games. But I didn't have those growing up. But like N64 is where I really, you reached out. You had the Star Fox. You had Super Mario 64, and then you had like these different genres where you saw the things coming together.
Yeah,
so
I was just like more aware of things. When I had my SNES, like this is gonna sound awful, but I didn't even know they made sequels to Donkey Kong Country when I was that young. I didn't even know they existed, and so like going on like the internet, like and finding these for the first time, I was like, "What?
Oh man,
what is this? What is this girl
too.
Monkey? What is this?"
That's super depressing because like DKC 2 is like the best one.
I know, and I just got it recently for SNES, and it's so good.
I like feel bad for your childhood for not having it.
I know.
But like, because when I said Donkey Kong Country, I meant all three. I had all three.
Yeah.
And I played all three all the time. I even had like a guidebook to the third one and beat it. Like that may be like the first game I 100%ed. It may very well be, which is like that's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know why. It's just there was something special about what the N64 was, but also it was right at that age where just like you said, you're growing up a little more. You're getting more like in depth into what it is and stuff. Yeah. It was just something special about it. I don't know why.
It's great.
Yeah, and it is. It just
so
is.
many.
It's great.
There's like so many great games on it, but at the same time, there's a lot of like sports games that are like so obscure. Like when I got an N64 recently, my brother got it for me for Christmas. Like this is like 2 years ago when I was like getting back into like retro stuff, and the 2 games that it came with were like NFL Quarterback Club 98 and
like weird knockoff one.
NHL 2000 or something like that. And I was like, wow, this is great. And then he was like, yeah, that's all I got you. And I was like, no, but he was just joking. And he got me Yoshi's Story.
It's so.
I love that game.
It's funny because it's like they almost had a different, like, what am I trying to say? Like, SNES and N64 has its fair share of the garbage games as well, for sure. But for some reason they feel better, even if they were garbage. Like, did you ever play Clay Fighter 63 1/3?
63 1/3?
It's what it's called. It's what it's called.
What?
Yeah,
that is the most clever name of an N64 game I've ever heard.
So and they called it that because it was technically 2D, but it had like 3D textures.
Oh,
it's a fighting
that
game.
Is so weird.
It's a fighting game, and it has like weird random pulled characters. Like Earthworm Jim is in it, but then like the rest, I think the rest are a lot of like made up characters. And it's the weirdest game, and it's bad. And there's like no modes. It's like just fight. But for some reason, I cherish that more than like the Mickey Mouse game on SNES.
Yeah,
you know what and it's like weird. I don't know why, but maybe it's like I started building my library, and it's like these are mine. You know what I mean? There's something to that, and it's weird.
Yeah, dang, that's so weird. The only thing, like, I've heard of like Clay Fighter before, but I think it was like, I think there might be one that was on SNES.
I think there is too.
I'm not sure though.
I think there is. I'm not positive. Yeah.
That is a great name.
I know, and I remember. I don't even remember like why I got it or if it was like a gift or something, but I remember playing it and enjoying it. But yeah, that was a weird title, 63.
That's one thing. How like all N64 games have 64 on them.
Kidding.
That's like. Is there any other console like that where they named like everything like 64 version?
That's true.
Like I guess they were like really trying to drive home the whole like 64-bit point, but like
I think so.
I don't remember there being like a lot of like marketing for that. Like 64 bits this time.
Yeah, it was just in the title. Like that I apparently told you it's like this means it's 3D, you know?
Yeah,
and like, but there are other numbered consoles that didn't do that. Like, you don't see the PS2 version of like something PS2 or something 360. It's just they didn't do that. You know what I mean? So I think it was. I think that was kind of like an inherent like we gotta put the number in there. It's kind of like a signature. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird, but I mean, the thing is, like, it sounds good. Like 64.
Yeah, it does.
A good number. This is a good number.
It rolls off the tongue nicely.
Yeah. I don't know. It's cool. Yes.
Now, obviously, it had like all the collectathon stuff. That's where like really started. But I feel like it really just had other good stuff too, like Pokemon Stadium. That was like my jam.
I have Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2 currently.
I did too.
And that game is like kind of gets like a little ridiculed for the fact that like you really needed the Game Boy games to like enjoy it fully. But I still play it and I still have like a ton of fun with it. Like I'm not like too huge into like competitive Pokemon. Like I'm
not either.
I kind of want to at some point just to see what it's all about, but like it's just like fun. I don't know.
Just
it's kind
Pokemon
of like
Stadium for the mini games.
Oh yeah. The mini games are so like simple but so fun at the same time.
I don't know why. That was like the most fun I had in that game was playing the mini games.
The Rattata one,
like
jumping over the barriers.
Talk about things that are like ingrained in your brain. Talk about like those mini games. The Magikarp Splash, man.
Yeah. Gosh. It's great.
It is. I think too. Because there's obviously you could talk about like GoldenEye or like Smash Bros. And it's just like the start of what became so much greater. And I think that's part of it too.
Yeah. Oddly enough, like I don't think I played GoldenEye for like many years because I was so young and my parents were definitely not into that. But yeah,
I played a ton of GoldenEye. And
everyone plays a ton of
Smash Bros. Well, right. And it's funny because if you play it now, you're like, this is terrible.
Oh, yeah.
It's so bad.
I actually, like, made a joke about it in the Metroid video because there's one part where I talk about how, like, those kinds of detailed games with, like, human characters and stuff, like, have, like, really, like, poor textures, and so, like, I took, like, 3 screen grabs of games, and one of them was GoldenEye, and it's just, like, there's just, like, a bunch of guys with, like, really polygonal heads, just like getting blown up all at the same time.
The funny thing about that is, at the time we were like, "That's Pierce Brosnan. It looks just like him. That is him." And it's like this like stretched out. It looks like someone like cut his face off and put it on their own face. It just looks terrible. But we were like, "That is him in this game. This is amazing."
My gosh, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's just unique. I don't know, something about it. But it's good, man. Okay.
Yeah.
Is anything else on N64, or should we go to...
I mean, just, like, for some games for me, like, oddly enough, like, my first Zelda game wasn't even Ocarina of Time, it was Majora's Mask.
Oh, yeah, wow.
And the thing about that was, like, today, it's probably my favorite Zelda game, but when I had it, I couldn't even get out of Clocktown. I was so bad. I couldn't even get out of Clocktown, but I still loved that game. I just loved, like, running around Clocktown, talking to people and stuff.
It's crazy when, like, that bit of that game is so good that you think that that's enough. Like, it's just amazing.
Yeah, I thought that was, like, the whole game, just, like, running around. And then I would die at the end of the 3 days.
I was going to say, because for me, I never owned Ocarina of Time, and I never owned Majora's Mask, but I rented them. And same thing. Majora's Mask, I died over and over. Like, I never figured out how to turn back. I don't think I ever got to the point when you could turn back time.
Yeah.
And so it was like, all right, I guess it just died.
It's kind of tough in the beginning because, like,
if you don't know what you're doing.
If you've never, like, played a Zelda game, like, it doesn't really guide you all that much in the beginning, and you're already on a time crunch because you can't hold back time
yet. It's the
yet.
stress of the time running out anyway.
Yeah,
that you're just like,
a lot of people hate the whole time aspect, but I actually think it adds like a lot to the game in like making it a persistent world that feels like it actually exists.
Well, it's pretty deep, like theming wise.
Oh yeah,
like really deep theming wise.
Someone's gonna say, "Oh, they're gonna talk about how Majora's Mask is so dark and stuff."
Right, yeah. Well, and I haven't played it actually. I've played through like the first dungeon, and that's the thing is I went back and was like, I gotta play it. I gotta experience it, but I never figured out you could slow time.
Oh yeah, you need that,
and so I died because time ran out in the dungeon. So then I just had to start over, and I was like, I was like, this is dumb. And then I looked it up.
Even then, it doesn't tell you that you can do that. You just have to stumble upon that scarecrow guy.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that until I played it recently. Like, I just stumbled across that guy because at this point, like, I know that like you should talk to like every NPC character in a game like that. So I just saw that. I was like, oh, this may be useful. And I was right.
I think I even talked to him, and like he teaches you the song, but like I didn't know what it did. So I just didn't, and it's probably my fault because I just didn't read it or whatever. But that still made me mad, and I don't know why. But
yeah,
I remember seeing Ocarina of Time though, a friend playing it. My first ever impressions of Ocarina of Time was right before you go in Jabu Jabu's belly, and the like Fish King just does the like whack, 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 whack.
Zora King.
Whack, whack. For like,
that's your first impression of Zelda.
A friend came over and he's like, "Yeah, I'm at this part in this thing," and we watched him scoot for like 2 minutes, and we're like, "What is this game?"
Exciting experience.
The rivetingness of Ocarina of Time.
Oh,
silly stuff, man.
Yeah.
Also, just one last thing is like, it was still local multiplayer, and I think that was like something about it too, and I don't really know why, but it was just like this, because like with GoldenEye, you could still
I totally and Smash Brothers,
Smash Bros, just any of those where you and the mini games in Pokemon Stadium. It's like you could play those all night with your friends, and I did. I'm pretty sure, like, I remember doing like 99 stock matches with friends on Smash Bros.
Yeah,
you know, and just playing until we ran out of lives because like it was just that incredible. Things like that.
And you unlock like a whole bunch of crap at the end of that match.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So anyway, okay. Well, that's funny that we agree. We didn't tell each other ahead of time what our favorite was, but we agreed.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Yeah.
Like I came into this thinking like I'm not gonna tell him what my favorite console is beforehand, but I have a feeling we're gonna have the same thing.
Well, and I did wrestle with it because of that debate of like SNES is super polished though.
Yeah.
You know, and so they were really good games.
Yeah, and for
there's
me,
just something about it.
For me, I think it would be like I'd have that same argument, but with N64 and GameCube.
Yeah,
because GameCube, I could talk about GameCube for like ever.
Yeah,
just how like every game on that system is like a totally like brand new kind of concept. Like who saw Luigi's Mansion coming?
Right.
Who saw Flood and Mario Sunshine?
They
saw that
really
coming?
got creative with it. Like really creative.
Yeah. And Wind Waker, everyone was in uproar about the art style. I never cared. I was like, holy crap, this looks awesome.
It looks like it probably would have like fallen flat if it wasn't so like beautiful.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's different art style, but look at it though, you know?
It's so good.
Yeah.
And like they didn't even need to make an HD remaster of that. It like it's it's like ages so nicely.
Yep.
I don't think it's ever gonna like lose its charm.
See, and that's my problem because I didn't have a GameCube. I never had a GameCube, and so that's
missed out.
It's my
horrible
problem.
decision.
It really was. But actually, that's a good transition because your other console of choice, not Nintendo, because this is why I didn't have a GameCube, was PS2. I was PS2 for like all of my preteen life.
Yeah.
So
I also had a PS2, which I got from the same cousin that got me the N64, oddly enough.
There you go.
But that wasn't even like a gift. He was just like, "Hey, I have this thing just like in my closet. Do you guys like want this?" Because he just like didn't play it. So we were like, "Yeah, PS2."
Totally. Yeah. That's mine. I think favorite non-Nintendo console. I think PS2.
PS2, like the whole PlayStation line. I think from PS2 up to current, like they have really like attractive console designs. Like they're really sleek.
Oh yeah.
And like just cool with the whole black theming.
Yeah.
I think PlayStation definitely has the prettiest like consoles.
Well, and when it came out, when PS2 came out and like the marketing for it, it was like they're making a second one? What? You know,
well, and were the like really weird commercials, was that for PS2 or PS3?
PS3
like I remember there was
weird ones.
I remember there was one for that I saw where there was just like a doll baby.
I think it was PS3.
God, that's so weird.
PS2
like,
was still thinking? Like almost 90s, where it was like a kid getting like electrocuted and whoa, and you know what I mean, like things like that, where it's like that kind of thing. But PS3 had the weird commercials, I remember.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you get to that and on, it is hard to like not pick a current console because it's like it's just better. Isn't that weird? Because it's like we can talk about Nintendo consoles and like look how amazing these old consoles were, but if you talk about PlayStation and Xbox, they're kind of like muddied together a little bit.
Yeah, because I mean, especially now, like I have no reason to get a PS4 or an Xbox One. They're just like third-party machines, and when I'm doing YouTube, I already bought a moderately powerful computer to do this.
Exactly.
So it's like, why even bother? Like Steam is just like, like I gotta say, PC Master Race. Even though
can we pick PC? Is that an option? Because I would pick that.
I would let you pick that.
Because I think I would say PC.
It's just like
Nintendo game.
as an adult, PC.
Yeah,
like, it's so you can get so many games and save so much money.
Yeah,
because you don't like have like when you're an adult, you don't get like. I don't know what I'm going with this. Where I'm going with this,
we joke like PC Master Race, but like to me that's
literally
it's obvious. Like it's not even a debate. Like
I know
it's so obvious. Like hello, it's you're gonna have one anyway. Like people have PCs no matter what, and then Steam just streamlined everything. And even like emulators, like it can emulate the other things. So like it can do literally almost anything.
Just like every argument that people have as to why they like own a console, like if you actually take the time, you can make your PC a console. You can plug it. You can just all you gotta do is plop it next to your TV and plug it in HDMI.
Yeah,
that's all you gotta do.
Even that thing, you can plug it into your controller. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can plug a controller into it too. Like it's insane, like how people have this like perception of like
so true.
PC gamers being just like greasy, like basement hunched over their computer. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I mean, I've done that. I've plugged mine into the TV, put a controller in, and played Spelunky on the TV for a long time. And it's like, this is awesome. Yeah,
and you basically just have a console that's 20 times more powerful. You don't get like any like graphical issues.
That's
or whatever.
what I don't get. It's like because the only thing you don't have is first party, stuff, and that's why Nintendo.
That's why I have a Wii U.
It's same.
I don't like people are like getting on Wii U for like not having enough games, but it's like I already have a PC. Like
it's the only one I feel like I need to have.
There's like some sort of like YouTube community that's like really hates Nintendo and like they like make fun of people who claim that like they own a Nintendo console because they already have a PC, which I don't understand because it's just like that's why I have a Wii U because I already have a PC. Like
exactly.
I don't know.
It's the only one that you kind of need. That exactly.
Yeah, and there's not like games on it that are gonna like every game released, I think, aside from like the horrible games that are littering the eShop right now, like freaking Meme Run. Like every like big release is gonna be like real quality.
Well,
like,
the like no games argument, I feel like you can't be said after 2014.
Oh yeah.
That was the year of Nintendo games for sure.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I was gonna make a video a while back in 2014 of like my top 5 reasons why I love my Wii U, and it was gonna kind of be like, look, like it really is awesome, but like now I feel like the attitude has shifted where people realize, no, this is good, and it really just needed the games, and I feel like Wii was that way too though, but people bought a Wii anyway because of Wii Sports.
Yeah, I think if there was any sort of like complaints about like droughts and stuff, it was kind of buried under all the people all the grandmas who bought a Wii to play Wii Sports.
I mean, when it came out, you had Wii Sports and Mario Galaxy, and that's it. But like 2-3 years into its release, you got Brawl and you got Mario Kart, and so I feel like it's the same thing where it took them just a little bit to get those releases out, and now it's like, okay, I see why this is worthwhile. So, yeah.
And another thing on that, like one thing that kind of is, I guess, annoying about Nintendo is that when they're doing really well, they stop caring about supporting their systems. Like that's how the Wii died, like such a painful death because they sold so many systems. They were like, oh, we're on top of the world, we won, and that like mentality I think kind of trickled over into the Wii U based off of how they had no marketing. They just kind of assumed that everybody who had a Wii was going to buy a Wii U, and they were
very wrong. That's a good point. I feel like that part of that may have caused why it had such a bad start.
Yeah, and going off of that, like, because they had such a poor start, like, I love that because that's when they realized they had to really kick it into gear and start getting these, like, really great games out.
Yep. Yeah, they realized, oh, what have we done? Why did we name it the Wii U? Oh, people didn't realize that this is a new console.
People still don't know. It's insane.
That was, like, the silliest decision I think I'd ever seen them do.
Yeah.
Let's name it almost the same. Like, not even Wii 2. Like, even that would have made sense. But, like, Wii U sounds like an add-on. It sounds like a peripheral.
Yeah. And they didn't even... One thing, like, for some reason, I kind of dropped off, like, the whole Nintendo hype, like, sort of near the end of the Wii life cycle because of how it was going. There was nothing I wanted to play. So then I jumped onto 360 for a while.
Yeah.
And one thing that is just awful is that I didn't even know the Wii U was, like, coming out. Like, I didn't know it existed when they showed it off for the first time.
You and everyone else.
One thing that I heard was, like, when they, like, revealed it, they, like, I don't know if this is actually true or not, but I heard that they had a tendency of not wanting to show what the console looks like, but they showed the gamepad, like, they put all the spotlight on the gamepad, so that could be, like, a contributing factor to the whole, like, this is just an add-on, there is no other piece to it.
Yeah, and they treated the gamepad like it was the end-all be-all, but it's like, it just felt like a 3DS, or a DS, you know, that it was just like, okay, you have the two screens, I guess, I don't know. Felt like it was more revolutionary than it was, but... Mm-hmm. I like it, though, now.
I love the Wii U. Like, I love it, but I'm still waiting for, like, a game that uses the gamepad in, like, a fun way, but at the same time isn't too gimmicky.
Yeah, most of them, the ones I have, are they just emulate the screen onto your gamepad.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is not doing anything. The only benefit is, like, my wife could watch TV while I'm playing on the gamepad.
Yeah.
You know? But... yeah,
even then, like, Star Fox, yeah. Even then, the games, like, they look so damn good that I don't want to play them on the gamepad. I want to experience it, like, in full glory, HD. And so there are times where I'll be playing a game and, like, someone's going to want to use a TV, and I'm like, you know what? Instead of using the gamepad, I think I might... just put it down for now and come back when I can, like, fully experience the game.
Well, it does. There's something about it in HD that makes it look so good, you know?
Yeah, and Nintendo games have never looked this amazing. Like Pikmin 3, that game is freaking gorgeous. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, the environment, like, almost looks like real, to me at least. It's insane.
Yeah.
I love that game. That game is so good.
I've been playing a lot of Smash Wii U, and it's just, I just marvel at it. It looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it funny how we were like, all right, other consoles, and then we went back to Nintendo and talked about the Wii U.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I guess that just shows where our, you know, allegiance truly lies. I don't know.
Yeah.
The only reason I said PS2 is, I think, part just that is another one that I grew up a lot with. Like, because I felt like I went N64, PS2, Wii, and I did the same thing because I had Wii before 360, and then I was like, all right, I'm ready for some other stuff. So then I got 360. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of funny how the way that goes.
Yeah, I guess my favorite, like, I hate saying this, but, like, I think my favorite console that's not Nintendo is actually the 360.
Yeah.
For like at the same time, like, I love 360 and I hate 360 so much because, like, they've given me so many issues.
Yeah.
I actually have 3 of the white 360s. I have one next to me right now because I'm recording for a video.
Yeah.
But I have one that got some weird thing, like, under warranty, like, we had, like, 3 years under warranty for it to red ring.
Yeah.
But what happened to our first 360 is it didn't fully red ring where you get, like, 3, like, red players on the button or whatever, it got 1, and that usually means that like there's something wrong with your power supply, and you just have to fix it, and it fixes itself. But for some reason, we had like the one thing, and when you would turn it on, it would give us this weird error message that was like, it was called E73, and I still don't even know what it was. And the worst part about that was only covered for 1 year of the warranty, and it happened like a few months after our first year, so we didn't get a new one.
It always ends up that way too.
Yeah.
I kind of debate with myself 360 as well. Like, it'd be a toss-up almost for me with PS2 and 360, because I had a lot of... I mean, we still use it to, like, watch Netflix and stuff in the back room. So, I mean, you know, I still have it, and I still use it, which I can't say about PS2, which I do have, but that's one, too, that if you play a PS2 game on, like, your big widescreen TV, it looks pretty bad. You know? It's like, oh, like... I can't even read it when it's blown up. How did I read this on a like square old TV?
Yeah.
Like, I popped in God of War 2 the other day, and I was like, I really need to play some PS2 games. So I just did, and like it's bigger than it's ever been. How could I not read what this is telling me? Because like it would give you the instructions or whatever, but like it's so grainy, you just couldn't even read it. But I had a lot of good times on PS2, like Final Fantasy X.
Oh, I love Final Fantasy X. That was the first Final Fantasy game that I actually played, and I freaking adore that game.
Oh, wait, no, that's not true. I played 8. I played 8. Final Fantasy X is the only one I've beaten.
Yeah, I beat that too. Yep. It's, oh man. That, like, people, like, make fun of Titus all the time, but I really actually like him.
I love that game, just like everything about it. We could do, like, a whole other podcast, I feel like, of... just
good Final Fantasy.
Yeah. No, I think that's the one I played most. Well, I don't know. There were a lot of good ones on there, too. I played a lot of Tony Hawk Underground.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Like, I am a big Skate 2 fanatic.
Yeah, we were talking about Skate 2 the other day.
I know, like... Nace Pybus is gonna be watching this, and he's gonna be like, he's gonna give me so much like grief for like saying that I like Tony Hawk, because like I really do like it, but like him and I just like go back and forth on like what the best like skating game is, and I always say I'm like Skate 2, dude. That is the pinnacle of skating games. It's amazing. Yeah, but like Tony Hawk, like Underground specifically, the first one was like. That was when it was like really just like cool for me.
It is, and I don't know why, but it is, right? Like Underground, maybe it was just because it was a rebranding. You know, it wasn't like a number something, but I loved Underground. The
whole change to like the story mode where it wasn't like it was less arcadey, and like. You like your journey as a skater, and like it was so funny.
It was the first one where you like made a character, right? Or like actually you made it you.
The character creation was like amazing.
Yep,
it's so good in that. I always would make a character with like the eraser hair that like goes up like really high and has the flat top. Gosh, it was.
I think my first character, I tried to make it look like me, and then anyone after that, I just gave him like blue skin and like just boxers. You know, the guy that like went crazy with it, the spiked hair and the
just go absolutely wild.
Yeah, a lot of Tony Hawk Underground and a lot of the Jak and Daxter series. Played a lot.
Jak and Daxter, like, I played a lot of Jak 2. Like I beat Jak 2 like when I first like got it, and I just beat Jak and Daxter recently with the collection on the PS3.
Yep.
And it's weird because like I always like I had played Jak and Daxter like as a kid too. I'd played both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
And I just really loved Jak 2 like so much more than Jak and Daxter.
Yeah. But
going back to it, like now I really like Jak and Daxter better than Jak 2.
I was gonna say I think I like Jak and Daxter better than Jak 2, but they're so different. Like you almost couldn't compare them.
Yeah,
which is weird. Same series, but it's so different.
They kind of like abandoned everything they were going with the first game for Jak 2. It's so weird. Like
so different.
like the big selling point for me for Jack and Daxter is like how freaking gorgeous the world is, and there's never there's never really a loading screen, so it's like
totally.
a big believable world, and it was like gorgeous and stuff, and the locations were like so cool to explore. And then Jak 2 was like, you're gonna be driving around the city,
driving
for
in
like
city that all looks the same
of the game,
and it all looks the same.
Yeah, and you never know where you are.
No, I get lost.
The worst part is like you're driving and you have your eyes glued to the mini map in the corner,
exactly.
And then you're running into other people because you're looking at the mini map. Like that was a horrible design choice to make everything look the same in that city.
It's like a completely different game. It went from like collectathon platformer to Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, for real.
And that's crazy.
And the gunplay in that, I liked the gunplay in Jak 2. Like, there was, like, you could sort of like snap to, whoever you're like firing to.
Yeah.
I think if you did like some sort of like, if you did like the spin attack and then you shot, you would like.
It's getting really bright in here. Just close the curtain. There we go.
I think if you did the spin attack and you just shot, you would like spray like all around you.
Yeah.
And there was another thing where if you used the punch, that like the punch forward, you would like shoot after that, and you would do like a 3-round burst or whatever. Yep. So there were cool things like that made the gunplay like really fun. Mm-hmm. And it was weird because like it shouldn't have worked in a game like that. Like you'd think that like in a game designed to be a platformer that the gunplay would be really awkward. Right. But for some reason, like, I had a lot of fun with the gunplay in that.
Well, and it was a good game, like, in its own right. Even though it was so different, it was still really good. And I think that's... It could have been a weird transition, but for some reason it worked because it was just a good game, too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so PS2/360 for me, maybe 360 for you.
Yeah.
Nintendo 64... for Nintendo.
N64 all time is the best system. Objectively, it is the best system in the world.
Now we're gonna get the debate flame war in the comments. What are you talking about? SNES all day.
Well, they have to get this far for me to... So if we get angry comments, we did good.
We know they watched the whole thing. We are 48 minutes in. So quickly to end. If you had any pick of all consoles ever to come out right now, which would you pick? And I think I will say, not counting PC, because I would just totally say PC. But if you had a console...
So do you mean, like, if you had one console and you couldn't play anything else? Is that what you mean?
I guess I mean, you have all consoles... and all games at your disposal.
Okay, and then you just have to pick whatever you feel like playing.
Which do you feel like playing? Pick up.
Okay. Man, you go first.
I was going to say, because I'm going to say something different. I'm going to say SNES.
Okay.
Even more than N64. And that's because it's a pretty specific reason. It's just the controller.
Yeah.
Like...
I had forgotten how great the controller was because I just recently got.
I really like playing N64 games on emulator because I'll use like my Xbox 360 controller, and that makes it feels great. But the N64 controller is like
I'm gonna disagree with you there. I actually really like the N64 controller. I guess it depends on the game because most games like you don't even like it's an odd design because the way the controller is designed, like you're either using the analog stick or you're using the D-pad. You can't possibly use both at the same time.
Yeah.
And I've been playing through Mario 64 recently, and I was first playing it on emulator with a 360 controller.
Yeah.
And I just recently started playing with the N64 controller on like the actual N64, and for some reason it just felt better to me. Like, especially I guess because I got really lucky and I got an N64 controller that's like first party on eBay recently, and it's like flawless condition. It's crazy. Those are so hard to come by.
And I guess I haven't like played an actual N64 with an actual controller in a long time. So
Yeah.
so maybe that's
So your opinion is flawed.
well, the only reason I said it was clunky and it felt weird was because I played GoldenEye. Like, that was the last time I played it. It was
Yeah.
GoldenEye on an N64 with friends.
With one analog
With
stick,
one
right?
analog, and I was just like, this is awful, but it's just because we've been, like, trained now to need 2 joysticks.
Mhm.
And so, I guess that's the only reason I say that. But I said SNES because I really like the controller of SNES a lot. And just, I feel like those games, kind of going back to what we were saying, just so polished. Like, those games are going to be and look good for so long, for forever, you know? I can go and play Donkey Kong Country 2 and still feel like, oh, this is so good, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of, like, if I play an N64 game, even though I love it, I can look at it and go, oh, it kind of looks, you know, it's like, oh, this is blocky or, like, whatever. But even though I love it and it'll still be super fun, they just look so polished, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I got you.
I guess that's why I said that.
Yeah. Well, for me, like, I'm going to say 360. If I had all of the, like, online capabilities.
That's true, yeah.
Because, like, the sad thing right now is, like, I have 3 360s in my house. One of them's broken. One of them, my brother brought home from college that his friend let him take, but it's locked with a password, so we can't use it. And I don't know why, but
that
so
happened.
have,
that
like,
happened to me
360.
recently with, like, I couldn't log into Live, and
Yeah.
it was because, like, it was registered under some weird email that I didn't know it was.
Yeah,
and, like,
that you made and just for that.
well,
system
I
in,
talked
like,
to, like, tech support
2006
for like an hour and tried to get it back, and they were like, you need the email or a phone number that we can reach you at. But, like, I had switched phones. And so, like, there was, like, no way. And so what I did, it's actually really funny. I texted my old number, and I said, hey, I don't know who this is or if you have this phone, but if you get an Xbox verification number they give you, can you give it to me? And the guy...
No, this does not work.
And the guy replied and was like, no, I didn't get one. And I was like,
Oh.
dang it. And then, like, 10 minutes later, he's like, I got it, here it is. And he sent me the number. And then,
That is so weird.
and so then I told the rep the number, and they're like, oh, okay, this is the email. And I was like, oh, that email, like the one that, you know, and it's just like...
That is ridiculous.
It was like,
Are you kidding me?
I was like, thank you, random dude that has my old number. I couldn't have done it without him.
That is so weird.
It is super
So
weird.
it's just whoever had that new number, or the old number, it wasn't even the same phone, it was just...
Yeah, it was.
That's
I
so-
switched phones, and then that number got to somebody else, and
That's so weird.
it was really funny.
Crap.
Yeah. Well,
But,
man,
yeah.
awesome! Like, first snoCast, I call success.
Yeah, it was really fun.
That was fun. Thank you for being on.
Thanks, dude. It was an honor to be here.
My first guest, SteveOHobo, a man I'm very fond of. Really, I just like looking at his face, but
Oh, thanks.
that's a personal thing. So, but thank you for watching. If you stayed this long into this thing, I want to do a ton more of these, and I'll have all kinds of other guests, all kinds of other topics. So, I'm gonna kind of like switch now to an end slate, which is like we're going meta. We're going to end slate here. We'll do a SteveOHobo video on there, so you can check him out. Go subscribe. He is way undersubbed. Needs some more subs. For what
I've been
he
doing
puts
pretty
out.
well recently. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, you're
crazy.
getting up there, which is really good. I'm really glad, but he needs more. so go sub to him. Put ideas for future podcast like topics in comments. I want to know different topics you're interested in, so put those in. But yeah, thanks for watching the first snoCast. Thank you, SteveOHobo. It's been a blast. Do you prefer Steve-O or SteveOHobo? Or Steve?
I guess Steve-O.
Or Steven?
Whatever you want, man.
Steven
Whatever
with,
you
Steven with a
desire.
PH?
No, never. That is the inferior way of spelling that name.
It's like spelling Jeff, Geoff, or whatever.
No.
Okay, well, awesome. Thank you guys, and we'll see you on the next snoCast. Go check out some videos. Bye-bye!